Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paddock podcast, and joining me is one of my old mates, Webby. How are you doing, bro?
Old.
Oh, no.
I am, pal,
you're
yeah.
old. I mean, we've been mates for a long time.
Doing all right, pal. I'm doing okay,
Good
yeah.
to see you. From the Webby and O'Neill podcast. Go and check out that channel. Webby and Toney O'Neill on that channel. Always a good crack. There's a link in the description. Loads of stories to talk about. Loads of things going on. First of all, though, wanted to talk to you about Onana. Looks like we've got our man, or Ten Hag's got his man. New goalkeeper coming in after 12 years of David De Gea. What did you make of just the way David De Gea left? Did you think it was out of order the way it was handled, or do you think it was all right? Because there's a bit of debate going on. Did the club handle it in the right way? Do you think it was?
I come on here with the other lads last week, said it was an absolute disgrace by the way you got treated.
Yeah.
Mate, Jay, it's probably right time for the change. You know, a goalkeeper makes a mistake, 9 times out of 10 it ends up with a goal. If you're a fullback, you can get away with it, midfielder. But it's just the way the club's handled it, Jay. I wasn't happy about it, you know. It's the amount of games he's saved us over the years, you know what I mean? And he's made the boo-boos, you know what I mean? But I look at the keeper, what come in that first match against City at Wembley when he let one in, then the week later at West Brom, and he let another stinker in thinking, you got another Paddy Roach here. And he's grown and, well, winning Player of the Year, 4 or 5 times out of his 12 years. Just said it to see him go, just hope he don't come back to bite us on the bum, you know, it normally does with United. But no, if we could say goodbye to him, still chance for testimonial, you never know. But no, time for the change there, you know. I'm not saying these keepers need to be like centre-halves now, but tell you what, this kid will bring us some excitement at Old Trafford. There'll be a few going down with heart attacks next year with him. But no, he's played under Ten Hag at Ajax, you know, he's done well this year for that, Inter Milan in the Champions League, and maybe it was right, it was time for the change, you know, but I just don't like the way David left, you know, the way it just stinks to me. But that's a club all over at the moment, Jay, so it didn't surprise me, mate.
No, this is the thing, and it's like, I'm with you. Listen, Spanish Dave will always have his, you know, his place at United, the way he went about things, the amount of times he won Player of the Year awards, and the times in PFA Team of the Year, and some of the saves he did, some of the performances. But it's sad when you see a player who's been mint go down that route of just making mistakes, and you know what I mean, like just not being the player he were, and that's how it felt with De Gea, which is weird because he's not an old man. He's not like a player who's past his best. But
should be hitting his best now, shouldn't he? You know, like, we're not going to see it. We're not going to reap the benefits. It's just like you said, maybe go to Saudi, maybe go back to Spain. You know, whoever gets him gets a good goalkeeper who's proud with the odd mistake. You know what I mean? You look at the one at West Ham this year. You know, I'm thinking it's time for him to go. I wanted to go on social media or on our channel and slag him off. Just disappointed because we know he can do better. We've seen it, you know, for years, but I just disgusting the way he got treated. But there you go, Jay. But hopefully he'll get a good career and someone will get a great goalkeeper. Of
course he will. Can we handle this Onana lad or what? It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? Are you ready for this one or what?
Yeah, I can't wait.
I think this is going to be like. Do you remember Bartes? Some of the things
he's
an
absolute lunatic, isn't he?
Yeah.
But great, you've got to be a lunatic.
Listen.
You know, I always remember John Buddidge. You know, absolute mad as a box of frogs. And I seen an old video there on YouTube the other day of him doing a warm-up. I think it was at White Hart Lane, don't know who he was playing for. But mad.
Yeah.
But a great goalkeeper.
He went for years, didn't he?
He was still, was he 40 odd? He
played
for City,
but
mad as a box of frogs, Jay.
Absolutely.
Absolute lunatic. But that's what you need to be, a goalkeeper. You need to be daft.
You do need to be daft. And also in the modern era, you need to be able to play with the ball at your feet. And he can do that, can't he? You saw it in the Champions League final against Manchester City. He was picking out 30, 40-yard passes. He was confident, wasn't he? This isn't a kid who struggles when he's put under pressure as well. He can play out the back even if you put
I just look at De Gea Dave a few times, Jay, sorry, when he was kicking the ball out and on times it was going into touch and not finding the right player, and you know, when it was thinking, well, what you doing all week, you know what I mean? I'm not saying every ball's got to be to feet or to run, but a lot of them are going out of playing and thinking, this isn't just his game, this isn't his game, you know, he's an old-fashioned goalkeeper who like I said, was absolutely great for us, but we move on. I think it was time for the change, but I'll go again. Just the way the club did it, it just stinks in my eyes.
Get involved in the comments in the chat. Don't forget as well to send in some questions for Webby. Loads of people already in here. BMW Racing 1974 says, hello Webby.
Hello, son.
Justin Beaver says, grew up in San Diego, brother. All right, okay, yeah, we'll be over there. Someone else saying, bad how De Gea got treated, but I'm glad we are being ruthless. We have needed Eric Ten Hag for years. That's from Yvonne Lawless. Make sure you're hitting that like, share and subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. I want to get to 800,000 subscribers by the end of, I don't know, next week, and with your support, we can do it. What do you make of the way that Erik ten Hag's going about things? Because he wanted Mason Mount, we've got him in. He didn't think De Gea was up to it anymore for whatever reason. He's gone. He wanted Onana, he's come in. Harry Maguire's just been stripped to the captaincy as well. It does seem like Erik ten Hag isn't messing about.
No, you can't. A club like United, you can't mess about. No. Any club, you can't mess about. You know, look at last year, the Ronaldo situation, how we got rid of him. You know, when we heard Ronaldo was coming back, every red in the world was buzzing. And then you know, little snippets when it was going wrong, how he was doing this, and he didn't fancy going on the bench here and there. And he got him out of the club. Yeah. You know, a lot of managers, ex-managers, would have just... Ronaldo would have been too big for him. He got him out of the club, and then obviously Maguire thing. Now, I'm a fan of Maguire in a free, but I just think at United that, you know, that didn't help last year when he come on in the Europa League, when the own goal hits him and all that. Could only do to Adder.
Do you know what? That was mad unlucky, that really. Yeah. Because that's not, but you can't blame him.
No, but you see, Adder,
yeah.
That's it. It could have been.
You know, when you looks out,
yeah,
innit?
You looks out.
Yeah.
And I just think that, to be honest, he wants to play football, rightly so. Every player wants to play week in, week out. He's not going to be United. He's proved that he's not first choice. I should be playing. And I just hope that we get the right deal for everyone. The right deal for Adder, the right deal for the club. We don't get our pants pulled down, which we have done over the years, and even this season by selling likes of Iqbal for $1 million and this and that. So we wish him the best. You know, he's took the captaincy off him, and rightly so. He's not going to be playing. You need someone 9 times out of 10 who's on that pitch. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I put a tweet on the other day, and it all seems to be for Bruno. But for me, I'd like Casemiro or Martinez to take the armband.
You're not feeling Bruno's captain?
I just think that it could affect his game. You know, we went through that period last year when he was arguing and moaning, affecting his game. And no, I think he will become captain because of him being the vice captain, captain last year. But I'd like it to be Casemiro or Martinez. But let's see what the manager. But can't fault the manager. You know, I come in here and I thought, is this club too big for him? Yeah. And that's no disrespect to Ajax. A million times bigger than Ajax. And he's coming out by the right decisions. If your face don't fit and you're not right, you're not in the club and you're not in the team. You know, and you would have said to me, Jay, after being in Norway, that Brentford game, getting beat 4-0, we'd win a cup, we'd get in another final, we'd be back in the Champions League, would have laughed at you. Yeah. I would have called you John Buddidge. You know what I mean? But no, fair play to him, he's done a great job. And if he gets the right tools, Jay, he'll do even better, but he's got to get the right tools, and only time will tell. There you go, pal. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I love that. Fergal McClellan's in the super chat says, are you worried that we don't seem to have an overarching plan? It's Erik ten Hag making all the decisions. What happened if his risks don't pay off? Then what? It does seem like it's all on Ten Hag, doesn't it, these transfers and everything? It does feel like, you remember like under Jose and under Wally as well, sometimes players would be brought in and you think the manager didn't want him. Yeah. The manager didn't fancy him. Yeah. Fred, Jose Mourinho didn't want him. Yeah. Even Van der Beek, I don't think Ollie fancied him. But then with Mount, with Onana, with Anthony, with Martinez, they all feel like it's Erik ten Hag going, that's my signing, I want him, go and get him. Does that worry you at all? Because it's all on the manager, or do you think that's how we need to be?
No, I think that's needs to be. He needs to run in a full club. There's no point having clowns who are in charge of transfers who haven't got a clue, you know, which has happened in the past. You know what I mean? Like saying the Fred thing there was brought to the club and Jose didn't want him. We all knew that. But no, I think that he's got to take the full involvement of everything. It's his decision or not having people saying, well, is he really worth that? If we want a player and the manager wants to play, we've got to back him 100%. The club, the board, everything. And in Erik I trust, you know what I mean? I think he's done a great job under hard circumstances sometimes last year. You know, when this ownership's not helping out, he's probably been told it's all going to go through and we'd get this amount and we get that. But like saying, he fancied Mount and he's got Mount. He fancied Onana, he's got him. And hopefully a few more will come in before we play against Wolves.
No, I agree. I think that, like you said, it's been too much like it's a committee at United over the years. It's like everyone's involved in transfers and the Glazers and the director of football or whatever, Ed Woodward, whoever it is, has had their say. And I think you need a manager who knows who he wants, has players that fit the system he wants, like Onana does, and can, they're obtainable players. And I think that if you look at it, someone like Mason Mount, people going, oh, he shouldn't be a priority, why have we gone for him? And even I was questioning that. But this is a player the manager knows from his days in Holland when Mason Mount was there. Knows he can fit into his system, and he wanted him, and we've got him, and I like that. William Edmondson in the chat says, where do you stand on fans waiting for season tickets for years? You have older fans, sat on them, either selling most weeks, not going on games at all. What do you make of that, Webby? Some people saying that they've had to wait for season tickets.
Well, they reckon a few years ago that 60% of the season ticket names and holders in Old Trafford were dead. Because they was passing them on to family, weren't they? Because they were scared of losing them.
Yeah.
It's just hard. We're lucky. I'm lucky I've got a season ticket and I'll never let it go.
No.
You know what I mean? And it's hard, you know, people want to get there and I totally understand that, but it's just one of those things, you know, and these families were scared. I know they had a thing where you could go in and say, like, listen, it's not my granddad who owns it, because his granddad probably about 480 now, you know what I mean?
My dad got a season ticket when we were Newton Heath.
Yeah, and like, it's been passed on, and the club know that.
Yeah, of course they do.
But and they want everything. I just feel sorry for some of these people. It's like, we was talking there to a friend of mine who brought family over from Australia, who were over for the cricket, went to Old Trafford the other day on the tour, and he was like, oh, I can't believe I'm inside Old Trafford. I'm thinking, I go in every other week. It's an absolute crap hole.
I know.
But for them, you know, I do feel sorry for him, but what can we do? The stadium's not big enough, you know, to satisfy everyone. But if you get a chance of a season ticket or you've got one, just don't never sell it. Simple as that. Even if we are going through bad times, keep hold of it.
Yeah, definitely. I've had my season. Because I used to share one with my cousin. My uncle, my cousin had a season ticket. And he lived in Wales, and he'd only come to the big games, you know what I mean? And then every other game I used to get tickets for. Even some of the big games he didn't come for. So I used to have it most weeks, but it weren't mine. And then about, I don't know, 12 years ago or whatever, I got my own season ticket. And then since then I just thought, keep hold of that. And you know, if I wasn't going to have it, or if I wanted someone else to have it, maybe my laddie started going now, maybe pass it on to him, whatever. Jordan Clark says, love Webby, he's mint. Woody Wood says, Webby is on Stretford, Paddock. More than I've seen him on Webby and O'Neill recently. What gives? Don't worry, he'll be on both channels, and you can find him over on Webby and O'Neill. Make sure you check out the link in the description there. Always good stuff there. Always bringing out the big guns you on that channel as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we need to bring some out. Season starts, Toney. Yeah. I've just been obviously a bit busy through work, and I'm in town there. You'll say you're about, and I come and enjoy coming on here. I done one the other day with the Australian Supporters Club.
Right, okay.
Yeah, had a good crack with them.
Oh, yeah.
Good lads.
I've done that one before,
yeah. They're good lads, yeah. They've invited me over there, but I'm scared of spiders and snakes and all that, so I'd have to turn them down. No.
You're always getting invited around the world, do you? Remember when you used to do the radio show? And you'd have people from America, from North Scandinavia saying, when are you going to come over and see us?
I will do one day. I will do one day.
To be honest with you, right, I don't like spiders, I don't like creepy crawlers, but we was over in Australia last year in the pre-season, and maybe I got lucky, but I didn't see any, so I don't let that put you off. Javier Lopez says, how about Rashford for captain?
Yeah, I've seen a few comments about that. Yeah, that... I don't know. I just think that the likes of Marcus just concentrate on your playing, don't worry about... I know the captain's not a great deal, you know, nowadays, but no... Just keep Marcus, keep him fit, keep him scoring goals, get him a decent partner up front, and we'll see the best. We'll see more of Rashford, because like you're saying, last year without his goals, there would have been no Champions League. We would have been 14th or 15th. But no, it's a good call. He knows the club. He's a local lad. Will that affect his game? I don't know. But for me, it's either Casemiro or Martinez, please. But like you say, I think he will go for Bruno.
What did you make of it? We'll talk about Marcus Rashford because we're on that subject, so why not? New deal. Depending on who you read, it looks like it could be around 375 grand a week. Big money. I think that makes him the 4th or 5th highest paid player in the Premier League. I think there's Erling Haaland, there's Kevin De Bruyne, there's Mohamed Salah, and then there'd be Marcus Rashford. First of all, getting him on a long-term deal makes sense, doesn't it? I think anyone who says otherwise, I don't know what you're smoking. Because the kid is banging in the goals, come through the academy.
How old is he now, Jay?
25. So you're getting him on his best years. Yeah. Get him nailed down. Not got an issue with that. Some people questioning the wages and trying to move away from these huge contracts and all that other stuff. I get that, and I've made that argument myself in the past. One thing I will say is though, with certain players, when you put them on big money, massive money, there's an element of, okay, are we going to sell him in a couple of years? And if we are, that can scup you. I don't see Marcus Rashford leaving during his contract.
There's a lot of talk of obviously. Allegedly that his brother has spoke to PSG into his last year. And to lose someone like that would be a right body blow for the club. Yeah. Now obviously the money what they're talking allegedly is absolutely frightening, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you've got to pay it these days. If you don't, then they'll go elsewhere.
Well, he could have gone anywhere, couldn't he?
Any club, I've said it on my channel, I've said it on radio phone, any club that lets a player go below 18 months left in the contract, you're dicing with death. Ferguson, if you got to 18 months and you'd not signed, out the door, goodbye.
Get something for you.
Get something for you, goodbye. I always remember the very first one, and he took the mickey out of Liverpool. Now, we don't like Liverpool.
That's an understatement.
Steve McManaman took the piss out of them.
Yeah.
By the last year before he went to Real Madrid, playing when he fancied it, not going into tackles. I think they made him captain as well. Right. I might be wrong on that, but he took the mickey. Yeah. He should have just booted him out.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it's great money, fair play to Marcus for getting it in his team. You know, it's scandalous amounts of money, but if he goes, you're losing a player for nothing. So, you've got to keep him in contract.
This is the thing, and I think there's a few people in the chat saying it's more around 325 grand. I think Ridwan says that the terms in Marcus' new deal are worth 325 grand per week. This is from the Times Sport, I think he's quoting. Can't complain when Sancho is on more than Rashford on 350k a week. That was a massive contract we offered Sancho, wasn't it? And the thing with Sancho is, I like Jadon Sancho, and when he was at Dortmund, I understand why I wanted him, and he's a player, you thought, yeah, come to United, do a job, and it's too early to give up on the kid. But
this is a massive 6 months for him.
He's got
to produce.
Yeah.
You know, because don't get me wrong, before he come here, he was probably one of the first names on the England team sheet.
Yeah, he was.
Can't get in the squad.
No.
Had a dip of form, had injuries, had those personal problems. You know, I know it's only Leeds the other night, but he looked up for it. He looked ready. He looked sharp. So hopefully he can kick on, because a fully fit kicking on Jadon Sancho is a bonus to any team, and it'd be a right bonus to us. So hopefully he gets his head down, starts producing, and we'll just reap the benefits of it.
That's a really good point, Nat, about Jadon Sancho, because if you look in that position, we've got other players who are up for it. Alejandro Garnacho can play in a similar position to Jadon Sancho. I know he's only 19 years old, but he's absolutely smashed it since he's come into the squad. You look at Amad Diallo, he looked lively the other day. He was smashing it at Sunderland. I think it was 14 goals last season in the Championship. Yeah,
he's treated like a god.
Yeah,
I just
took him to the playoffs, didn't he?
Yeah, he's done very well up there. I was a bit dubious when he first come, but he needed that loan away. A club like Sunderland, who, when you play Sunderland in that league, it's their cup final, so they're going to be up for it.
Yeah.
No, it never worked for him at Rangers, unfortunately.
No.
Never really got a fair crack of the whip for me. I might be wrong. I don't watch Scottish football. I rather boil my own head. I watch Scottish football, but there you go. But the thing is, though, Jay, is that I think he's got to be given a chance now at our club, and then people will go about Elanga. You know, where does he stand? And I feel sorry for Elanga, because Elanga got pushed in with the Greenwood situation. If that were under Fergie, you'd probably seen Elanga one game out for free. He played week in, week out, week in, week out.
Saying this the other day.
And if we do sell him, we've got to get the right dough for him. We've got to get 20. He's a Swedish full international.
Yeah.
Don't be selling him for 2 and 8, which we normally do.
No.
Go for 25, 30 million. Look at that kid City's just sold, never kicked a ball in the Premiership. 19 million.
90 million. He's only played in League One. No, you're right. I was chatting to, Toffee TV. And Everton fans, I speak to them now and again, because they asked me to come on and talk about Elanga, and I said exactly what you said. Listen, I don't think Elanga is probably good enough for Manchester United, but we did not handle that kid right.
No.
He came in, right, he scored a few goals, Leeds, Atletico Madrid, a few games where you think, okay, there's something here, had that chant, everyone was loving him. His form fell off a cliff, and he just kept getting thrown in.
Do you know what it was with Jay as well? I think the last game we really seen him play when he started was Charlton in the League Cup. And I always remember the story, the thing of Jason Park when he was at United, mint player. Every big game, Fergie picks him. Yeah. Simple as, mint player. But towards the end of his career, he was playing in lesser teams, and it makes your job harder. And that's what with Elanga. If Elanga would have been up front with Ronaldo that night, or Anthony Martial, it would have been all right. He was up on his own, and I felt so sorry for him. And I don't think we've seen him start a game after that. But we just want what's best for him. I know I'm good friends with one of his mates, and all he wants to do is play football.
He seems like he's got a good attitude.
Good lad.
You can see, there was that
thing. You wanted him. Vieira was mad for him at Palace. Absolutely wanted him. On loan and see how it went. But obviously, it looks like United need to sell now. So Everton, he probably won't have to move house.
No, I said that. Little things like that make a difference. Do you know what I mean?
So let's just wait and see. But it's a big year for him. And he's too good to be sat on the bench or play in the reserves or. People
have written him off like he ain't good enough to play professional football. Like you say, he's a good player. He's only young. He's played 55 times for Manchester United at the age of 21. Yeah. That's no mean feat. The problem is he's not scored for 18 months. Get a move. Go to Goodison or somewhere like that. Get a team that believes in you, a manager that believes in you, get more of the ball, not just playing against the likes of Charlton, and hopefully there's a player there, because I wish Anthony Elanga well. I feel a little bit sorry for the kid, because under Ralph Rangnick it was an absolute bin fire, and he was just thrown in every week. There was times when Marcus was on the bench and Elanga was starting. What's that about? How's that good management? Sahil Patel says part of the sales problem is due to wages, but the wages are due to the club's underperformance and substandard workplace in comparison to big clubs. If you improve that, it will get easier in time. It is one of those things, don't it, United now? Do you remember when we used to want players and you could offer them whatever, and they'd come because it's United. They'd come because you're going to win titles. I think I seen an interview many years ago with Paul Parker, and he said he would have signed for 2p a week because he came to.
He wouldn't, I tell you.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. I know what you're saying. I know.
But he said when he comes to Old Trafford.
Well, you look at the Gordon McQueen thing.
He's been there.
99% of players want to play for United, the 1% are liars.
Yeah.
You know, and that's going to have to. That's changed because obviously we're well down the pecking order at the moment, but we're still Manchester United.
Still the biggest club.
Still the biggest club in the world, in my eyes.
No, I agree. Certainly the biggest club in this country.
What I want, Jay, and this is what I like about the manager, is looking at players who are hungry, not players. The amount of players we've signed over the years and put them a mad amount of money, and they don't give a monkeys about us.
No,
they want players who are hungry, who want to do well for this club. That's why I like seeing nothing better than a youth team player come through. Because they've been there 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
And for them to make their debut, you know, they want to stay there.
Yeah.
That's why I liked, and we've got that record, haven't we, where it's like for the last 60, 70 years, we've had a member of the youth team, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it should do as well, because we've got, you know, Eric Ten Hag, he knows about bringing youngsters through. You've seen the way what he's done with Garnacho. You've seen what he's done with other players as well. I know it's only pre-season, but last pre-season we saw likes of Savage, we saw Zidane Iqbal getting chances. This pre-season we've already seen players getting chances. Was it the kid, no remember him getting a goal as well the other day? He's willing to give youth a chance. Plus, you've got the likes, obviously, people like McTominay and Marcus who've come through the academy are still getting
McTominay
in the squad.
It's a strange one. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of talk that he could be going. You know, I think Fred will go in last year of his contract.
Yeah, Fulham.
You know, I just think that the likes of Fred, I think they've got to sell him and get what he can, because next year you'll walk for nothing. It's 50 million down the drain.
No,
that's it. But it's hard. I'm a big fan of Scott, you know, and he's done well over the summer. You know, the Scotland, I think he's their top goal scorer, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, and he'd do a job for us, you know, keeping him up. But like saying, there's another one. Once you get to play week in, week out, Jay, you want it all the time, and it's rightly so. So the manager's got some hard decisions, who to keep, who to let go, who to bring in, you know, but I trust him. I really trust the managers, and whatever decision he'll go, I'll back him 100%.
I couldn't agree more. Robert Wilhelm says, I don't understand people say Marcus is on too much money. Marcus is the complete package on and off the pitch. The club should be happy to pay him, and we should be happy to have him up the effing paddock. Well said there. I like that. Few people not too like. Well, there's one lad, Daniel Berry, who's not a big fan of Scott McTominay. Jordan Clark says, love United, hate Glazers. Completely agree with that. A couple of people saying about Jadon Sancho, others about Elanga. I want to see Elanga do something like Florent Balogun in France, says Ridwan. Listen, Elanga is a young lad. We'll see what happens with him. I want to talk to you about this kid, Rasmus Hojlund. We've been linked with this lad, right? There's a little tweet from Fabrizio Romano, who he loves a good tweet, doesn't he? He tweeted about a minute ago, and I've already lost it, where it said, if you can find it, he said... There you go. He said, Manchester United have Sofian Amrabat included in their defensive midfielder list, but nothing imminent and no bid has been sent. Man United next priority is new striker with Hojlund talks on. So it feels like there's something happening there with Rasmus Hojlund. Now, Rasmus Hojlund, good young player. I think he's only just 20 years old, playing in Syria for Atalanta. Done well there. Good numbers. I think it's safe to say, you know, he's put up decent numbers. He's not ridiculous. I think it was 9 goals in Serie A last season, so he's done all right. I think in other competitions, basically, I'll go through his stats, his career stats: 116 games in his career, 44 goals, 12 assists. So he's a good player, and he's obviously on the up. He's a youngster who's going to get better. For me, I'd have him. I just don't want us to spend too much on him, because there's talk that Atalanta want 83 million quid or something for him. Where do you stand on Hojlund? Do you think he could be a good signing for Eric Ten Hag? Do you think he could be someone that could play for Manchester United and do a job?
Yeah, but what I'm worried about is, like, can we put him in from the start, throw him in a league he doesn't know? You know, for that amount of money, I'd be absolutely gutted if we paid that. You know, even though it's not my money, I'd just be, you know, come to some agreement, like saying his stats are okay, but they're not jumping out at me. You know, we could do with going, because I'm a big fan of Anthony Martial, but Christ, man, you know, the amount of times he got injured last year, and you just can't count on him, and he's talking of him not being fit for the start of the season. You know, it's
a shame, innit? Like, it's not just me that thinks like, I know it's easy to get angry and annoyed and disappointed when players don't play, but this is a professional football. He's going to want to play football. Yeah. He seems broken.
It reminds me of Louis Saha when he wasn't right and totally in the head, he wouldn't play. You know, I got told that affects teammates. If he wasn't right, even though the medical team couldn't find anything serious with him, if he wasn't right,
psychological, because he had so many injuries.
He wouldn't play. You know, is that Martial? I don't know. You know, the French connection and all that. But I just think with this young lad, I just think that we need that bit of experience up front.
Yeah.
You know, we'd love Harry Kane, but that's not going to happen. You know, all day long you want a finished article, because I think now that for the Premier League, especially these big clubs, because this top four, what used to be all the time, it's a top 8 now.
Yeah.
And not to get in that Champions League is disastrous.
I agree.
We need to try and oozy about someone we could get. Do you know why? I was sat there thinking the other day, thinking he'd probably be right. It might be a bit controversial, this, but Mane, Bayern Munich, who's had a fallout.
Hey, that would be controversial. Do you reckon he'd come?
Yeah, United went for him, didn't he? Nearly got him under Van Gaal.
Van Gaal was a big fan, wasn't he?
Yeah, Van Gaal. Jay knows where the net is. He's done it in the Premiership. Yeah. I think with the murders he's caused at Bayern Munich, they want to ship him out.
How old is Sadio Mane? Let's have a look, because
he's 31, 32.
I don't think he's necessarily past it. Let's have a look. Listen, he's 31, so he's probably got some gas left in the tank.
I'd go in with a bid, mate. I'm sorry, yeah. I'd go in with a bid, just test the water, because if they're getting Kane, he's going to go further down the pecking order.
Yeah, he had a bit of a difficult season at Bayern Munich, 7 goals in the Bundesliga, 12 in all competitions. It's not a complete disaster. It's just that whole Liverpool connection. Would he come? And would we go for it? Who knows, though? It's not the worst idea.
Who thought Michael Owen would come?
Exactly.
You know,
do you know what I mean?
Listen, Jay, money talks, as we know.
Well, it does.
Money talks. But let's see.
If we're sort of budgeting as well.
Realistically, what would you get him for? What did they pay? Because in the last year of his contract, did he pay 20 or 30 million pound? Because in the last year, just go with them with 20 million. I think they want him out of the club. He seems a bit of a loose cannon, which we need up front.
Yeah, I think they paid 27.4 million for him.
Because the last year of his contract, and he told Liverpool he
if you are going to get him, you're going to get him for pennies. Yeah. Let us know in the comments in the chat, do you agree with what Webby's saying? Would you have Sadio Mane at the club? If not, who do you want to see? Is that Rasmus Hojlund? SK says, unfortunately with the current board, Erik Ten Hag has to take on other responsibilities. Till we get the Glazers out and get a director of footballing we need, etc., he'll have to carry us. First of all, though, Webby, if you haven't heard already, it's smooth sack summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're scaped from pubes to bum. That's right, this is the summer to keep your balls cool while looking hot with Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming, and making sure we all have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. Dive headfirst, literally if you want, into Smooth Sack Summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with our code Devils20. Right, now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jay, what am I going to get for that? What do you give me? A Manscaped really going to look after me this summer? Let me tell you, they have got you covered in them some. You get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer with its advanced skin-safe technology. We all know about that, yeah. It's got 7,000 RPM motor and a multifunctional on-off button. Nothing better or nothing worse even when you turn something on, you can't turn it off. Well, with this you can, don't worry about that. It's also got a 4000K LED spotlight, so you don't have to get your torch out on your phone when you're shaving your pabs. Don't worry about that, they've got you covered. Plus you get the Crop Preserver Ball Toner, you get the Manscaped boxers and the Shed travel bag, so you can put it all in there. Plus you've got the Shears 2.0, a luxury nail clipping device. I mean, this is all happening. 20% off and free shipping. You're going to be hotter than a summer barbecue, yeah? When you get all that round your saddle. Don't you worry about that, Webby. They have got you covered, yeah? So all that, 20% off and free shipping. All you've got to do for that absolute smorgasbord of below the waist grooming perfection is go to the link in the description, click on it, use the code Devils20, 20% off and free shipping, and you will look absolutely beach-tastic this summer thanks to Manscaped. Thank you to Manscaped as well for sponsoring this podcast. Right, let's talk about what's next on the agenda. We spoke about Hojlund.
I'm thinking about that Manscaped, mate.
Mate, Manscaped.
In the old towns.
Yeah,
there you go.
You get looked after with them, don't you worry. Just quickly, we mentioned Amrabat there. Hojlund, you mentioned it as soon as you came on air. We need a striker. We've got a goalkeeper. We brought in Mason Mount as attacking midfielder. What other positions do you look at and you think we need to get some cover there? We need someone for that. And don't forget as well, everyone, hit that like button. Let's get 500 likes. Smash a like.
I'd like, obviously, I just think the refs are going to have it in again for Casemiro. Anything late, that's his game. I felt a few times last year he got bookings because of who he was.
Yeah.
I'd like someone in there. So I'm about and players like that. We do need someone to come because I thought when he wasn't there, we lacked.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We lacked something. So
you want a DM? A DM.
I want a DM. I just want a centre forward, a two. Be nice. It'd be nice. Because that we was lucky last year because Marcus scored all those goals. If he would have had an average season, we won't be speaking Champions League. We won't be speaking.
This is the thing.
Cup finals.
And you're right. And on the flip side to that as well, like Wout Weghorst, he gave his all. He tried hardest, but he didn't have a goal in him. I think he scored 2 in 30 odd or something for us. Yeah. And those, no disrespect. I think one of them was like the 4th in a 4-1 win over Real Betis, and the other one was
Forest away.
Forest away in the League Cup, which again, it's not no disrespect to Forest, but he didn't score a goal in the Premier League. I feel like if we'd have had a striker who could have scored double figures, maybe we'd have got over the line in the FA Cup final. Maybe we'd have been able to mount a title challenge, but it was literally all on Marcus Rashford for our goals. You can't rely on one player, especially a player like Marcus. No disrespect to him, I love Marcus, but he's not regularly getting 30 goals a season.
No.
So he might not be able to hit them numbers again next season. No. And if he doesn't, where's the other goals coming from? You're right, you need a striker. That's why I like the fact we've been linked with Rasmus Hojlund. I like the fact we've been, talks have opened, but I feel like you were saying there, we need someone with a bit more experience. You need someone who can come in.
Sadio Mane. There you go.
I never thought I'd sit here with Darren Webber. I never thought where he would advocate Manchester United buying an ex-Liverpool player, but here we are. Like he said, up with Michael Owen. Stranger things have happened. Get involved in the comments. Do you believe that Sadio Mane is the answer? Louis van Gaal did. He wanted him. Yeah. Apparently, he wanted him, and he wanted N'Golo Kante as well. Before he got turfed. Yeah. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? I love Kante, mate. He's absolutely.
Where's he? Is he over in Saudi now?
Yeah, and he went from Chelsea to because I think he was done in the top level, wasn't he? I like N'Golo Kante, but last few times I've seen him for Chelsea, he didn't look like he was the same player as always. I think injuries caught up with him a little bit, but big money over there.
Yeah.
Here's one for you then. Naval Labede says Ivan Toney in Hojlund. Ivan Toney, who's banned till January. Would you take a punt on him in January?
All day long I would.
Talking my language, brother.
All day long I would. Speaking to Robbo about him, Robbo just didn't fancy him for the club. He just said he's not a United player, but he knows where the onion bag is, you know what I mean? But can we wait till January? You can't wait. 2 weeks is a long time in football. 2 minutes, and he's got his punishment. He's took it, but he's an handful. But then we're going to be playing high balls all the time to him, which Brentford do play some nice football, but a lot of the time it's oofed up to him and the other kid. I'd check him, but they'd want silly money.
Yeah.
They'd want.
Well, this is the thing. You might be able to get a little bit of a discount if he's only, he's not played for 6 months. Yeah. He's got this history that's a bit of a cloud hanging over him with his gambling stuff. And you go, okay, look, maybe we can get him cut price, which in today's market is probably 30 million or something. I don't think he's got that long on his his contracts as well. The only issue is, like you say, January is a long way away.
It's like the Greenwood situation, Jay. I know what's happening there. A big decision's got to be made very soon. Does he come back to us? Does he go on loan? Do we get rid? I think if you look at it there, that if he wasn't interested or still in the plans, he would have been sacked.
Yeah,
but he hasn't.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's weird because I remember
do you send him on loan? What's that going to do? Send him to Italy, probably one of the most racist countries going.
There's a lot of players have had stick over in Italy, haven't they? We saw what Lukaku got last season. Moises Keane had some grief as well.
Balotelli walked off how many times, and let's have it right. What he's done allegedly, he's been found not guilty. The best natural finisher I've seen in the Premier League since Robbie Fowler.
Yeah.
And we was building a team around him.
Yeah.
And did the Glazers, did the Rats let him go for nothing? No, because he's 100 million plus asset.
The issue is, and you've alluded to it there, it's not his ability, is it? No. It's this, it's what's gone on off the pitch, it's where that leads, it's what the club decide, because they've
got to be done, Jane, the next
they've done their own
pal.
internal investigation. So it's not just a police investigation, which you said all charges are cleared.
Yeah.
The club are saying we're doing our own investigation. Eric Ten Hag was asked about it and said it's not in my hands. So someone above him is going to make that decision. We're now into the second season where he's not going to be playing football. If you don't make something happen, maybe goes on loan. Is that just kicking a problem down the road, though?
Of course, it's just hiding from the problem, pal.
Or is that maybe saying, right, let him play football for, I don't know, let's just say Roma, for example. Let him play football for Roma. Take a bit of a backlash or whatever, or fans saying whatever they're saying about him, and then after that, he comes back and people are more used to the idea of Mason Greenwood playing football. I don't think it's a solution at all. I think Manchester United needs to make a decision and let the manager know whether he's got Mason Greenwood or he hasn't, and then he can make a decision whether he wants to play Mason Greenwood or not, because at the minute, nothing is getting sorted with the Mason Greenwood situation. Webby, on this podcast, we have Wally of the Week.
Yes.
I know you've done it before. It's just whatever anyone who's watching who doesn't understand, it's pretty self-explanatory. We pick someone who has been a Wally this week. So is there any contenders for you? Is anyone who stood out last week who was a bit of a Wally who you'd like to put in your Wally of the Week?
The Australian cricket team.
Nice. Why?
Because they just think that they're so much better than us. You know, I'm going Wednesday.
Oh, I
Me and May.
What is it, 2-1 in the Ashes?
2-1, yeah. I just think that...
Fan, but
I just think that...
I can read.
They absolutely just think that they've got to turn up at Old Trafford and it's game, set and match.
Trafford as well, man.
Looking forward to going with Wednesday with Maisie, Chris Turner, Lindsay Rowe.
Chris Turner used to play for United?
No, not Chris Turner.
I'm about to say, that's a bit of a random one.
The mad Chris Turner from Middleton is a great lad, Chris. Looking forward to it, but Wally of the Week, the Australian cricket team, from number 1 to number 11. Yeah. Done my shed writing. There you
go. Right, yeah. Fair enough.
That's through you, that, Jay, isn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be an entire cricket team. Yeah. But, I think that's a good... Do you know what I'm going to go, right? Who's done my head in this Wally of the Week. It's people who jump on social media and replying to posts. And I've seen, like, Memphis Depay did a post, right? And I'm not... Whatever Memphis Depay wants to post, it's up to him. And he had some views on, what had gone on with Mendy and all the rest of it. But then some of the replies I've seen, and I just think people are just making it toxic. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, listen, there's better ways to go about things than some of the comments I've seen, especially when you're just calling out people who've got nothing to do with this case or whatever, and you're just sort of making misogynistic comments.
Where do you go on that, Jay? Because he's been found not guilty. You know, look at him at Monaco. What a player.
Yeah.
City paid 50 million and you sacked him. So where does he go now, Jay?
I get that, and I wasn't sort of... It wasn't that. It wasn't the comment on that case, and he's been found not guilty, and that's fair enough. You have to take that on face value. Yeah. But it was people making horrible comments about all women and all this. I can imagine, Jay. And all this sort of stuff. And any woman that comes forward should be, if anyone's found not guilty, they should be prosecuted and all this nonsense. And I just thought it was really vile sort of conversation. So, listen, he's been found not guilty. He's still relatively young. I'm sure there's a club that will come in for him there because of the talent the players got. Sorry?
Can he play up front?
Don't even listen. I'll let you off the Sadio Mane one. You start going down another route. You are.
Great player at Monaco. I remember watching him, and obviously City coming and got him. Very injury prone. Never actually played a lot for City, but he's clear now. He's got to try and rebuild his life, but that's life. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in, Jake.
Yeah, it is. And I just think, I think people can be a bit kinder to
Any comments on me, Sadio Mane, have not been slated?
No, I mean, you didn't have many people. Jordan Clark says I love Webby, so there you go. I don't know if he loves you Jordan. For your Sadio Mane thing.
Probably not.
I think I was getting more stick for saying I didn't like some of the comments I was seeing on social media. But no, I think some people saying Daniel Berry says Toney is class, but we need somebody now. Christian Shea says Jonathan David. I'm just trying to think. There must have been some more comments about your Sadio Mane thing. I don't know.
Probably people are picking themselves up off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I thought if I said something like that, I'd be getting hounded. I think that says a lot about the people, the respect people have for you. Lockstock says Webby don't give a shit. Yeah, he says what he wants, Webby. That's why we love having him on. Yes.
I just think looking at Jay with a scenario that we've not got a lot of money, then maybe that could be around our price, but someone who's done it in the Premiership. But let's see. But
Mo Wadder said, I like Mane, but he's a Liverpool legend, so no. Maya Ramit said, lol.
So was Michael Owen, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So was Michael Owen till he scored that winner again.
Here's one though for you. Yeah. The simple dude says Mane will ask for stupid money.
But if you're getting him for less than peanuts, then surely we can get something around. I just think that is an option there, out who's done it in the Premiership, whether he's played for Liverpool, City or Notts County. I just think if the price is right, come on down. You know what I mean? And I think that'd help us, and I think he would come to United. I don't think the Liverpool thing would bother him. Nowadays, maybe in the 90s or something, or, you look at Sol Campbell when he left, people aren't bothered now, it's just the fans of the opposing. Liverpool fans would be ill.
Oh yeah, Jordan Clark says Mane just to piss Liverpool fans off. Is that your game?
No, not really. No, I just think that we need someone who knows where the onion bag is, and his record speaks for itself in the Premiership.
Listen,
both at Southampton and at Liverpool. So if a deal can be done and the manager fancies him, he might not fancy him. I just think that with what's gone on last year at Munich, it's not worked out for him. Getting back to England, probably still got his house what he lived in when he played for Liverpool. Happy days, nice price, knows where the bag is.
Knows where the bag is. There you are. You heard it here first from Webby. Yeah, he knows where the bag is. Don't worry, I'm going to do that afterwards. Sorry, just a little note to the producer there. Listen, Webby, always a pleasure, my brother. Go and check out Webby and O'Neill. Absolutely elite level podcasting. Him and Tony O'Neill, great guests as well. Go and check them out. There's a link in the description. Big thank you to Manscaped as well for sponsoring this podcast. Someone asked, are we going to be doing meetups in New York City? We're going to work with in New York. We will be doing some stuff in New York. So check us out on the socials. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be over in the States for the next 2 weeks, and we'll be doing all sorts of bits over there. Whether you're over there and you can come and meet us or not, watch the channel. That's been Webby. I've been Jay Motty. This has been Paddock Podcast. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.